Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Wealthy Brains. Today we're going to be talking about the Jim Rogers and his views economy. American investor Jim Rogers is perhaps most famous for having retired at age 37 to travel around the world after having made his fortune from the quantum hedge fund he co-founded with billionaire George Soros. For the last decade or so, he's been living in Singapore with his family, part of a long-term bet on the future of Asia as a source of global growth, and as a result, made sure his two children became fluent in Mandarin and Chinese culture. In an interview for Marketplace Morning Report from the BBC World Service, he issued a note of caution about market conditions. "I think everything has done badly," Rogers said. "People couldn't work, people couldn't eat, and people couldn't do anything. But as I look around the world, bonds are certainly in a bubble. Stocks in some countries are near highs. Property in many places is in a bubble. About the only asset class I see that's still cheap are commodities." What is your view of the world? How bad the damage is, and how are you looking at complete reboot? In 2008, the world had a big problem because of too much debt. Since then, the debt has skyrocketed everywhere, and even in India and China. 10 years ago, China had virtually no debt. Now they have a lot of debt. Everywhere does. The next time we have a problem, and we're having it right now, it is going to be the worst in my lifetime. It is a simple statement. The debt is much, much, much higher now. It has to be worse. We have these problems every few years. Why the US markets has been reacting as if nothing has happened in the world. I looked at Nasdaq last night. It is in the green. How remarkable is that? What do you mean nothing has happened? What are you talking about? The United States is spending trillions with the T and printing trillions of dollars. What do you mean nothing happened? The Bank of Japan. The guy goes to work, turns on the printing presses, print as fast as he can, all over the world. All these central banks and governments are printing and spending and borrowing as much as they can. Of course the market is going up. Do you think, given the way how markets have gone up both in India and internationally, there is a huge disconnect between the ground reality and the market levels? Yes, of course, there is. But remember what I just said. Nearly every country in the world is printing and spending lots of money now, and that money has to go somewhere. It is going into markets, and that is what happened. They say the excess money goes into markets. Remember, there is an election in the US in 6 months in November, and all of those guys want to get re-elected. They do not care about you, me, and our kids. They care about November and getting re-elected. So, all sorts of good things will keep happening and the markets will be okay for a little while. However, the debt is going through the roof everywhere. The money printing is everywhere, and eventually, we're going to pay the price. It is often said that you should never fight the Fed. Would you apply this again? All this money is going to go somewhere. The Federal Reserve in the US started it. Do not fight the Fed, but eventually, we are going to pay the price. When I spoke to you a couple of years ago, about 8 to 10 years ago, you said if you want to get rich, you need to do one thing, which is buying a silver spoon, stacking sugar in your pocket, and starting eating rice. If somebody wants to make money in the post-COVID world, what is the secret recipe? I own silver and I own gold. I stopped buying it for a while but have not sold. I have never sold any. In the summer of 2019, I started buying gold and silver again. Agriculture is still a disaster, but it has probably got great opportunities. If you buy the commodities themselves, it is hard to get rich in agriculture in India because the Indian government protects farmers. Oh, those poor farmers. They could be rich if the government would leave them alone. Agriculture, gold, and silver, some parts of the world economy have been smashed. Transportation, airlines, tourism, and anything to do with travel has been killed. I bought a shipping company in Russia last week, and a wine company in China last week. Some of these things have been really beaten down, and probably even if the bear market hits again, they're probably not going to go down much, I hope. Are you fully invested in the market? Fully invested? No. I am too lazy, much too lazy. I have bought some things and continue to buy. I own a lot of US dollars because when the turmoil gets bad again, and it already is, people look for a safe haven. Do you think that US dollars are safe haven? It is not, but they think it for a historic reason compared to the euro and other things. So I own a lot of US dollars and it is going to get overpriced. I hope I am smart enough to sell it when that happens and put my money elsewhere, maybe in gold. Often when the dollar goes up a lot, gold and silver go down. Silver is much cheaper than gold right now on a historic basis. The ratio between gold and silver is the highest it has ever been recorded in history. So, silver certainly is not overpriced in 2020. You have always said that in markets, the same thing keeps on repeating itself again and again. It is a cycle of fear and greed, and you need to figure out which template is at play. What does the current medical crisis remind you of? When did we see the economy shrink like this before? It may be at the beginning of the First World War, maybe in August of 1914. In Europe in 1914, everybody thought everything was okay and nobody expected a gigantic world war, but no, it has been anything quite like this. Markets were overvalued. The US market has been going up for over 10 years, the longest in American history, and it was sort of a bubble there. Everything was going straight up for a while because of all the money printing, and the market was due for a correction or for something to happen, and along came the virus. But something always comes along. This is it for today, folks. If you enjoyed the video, then leave a like, and if you are new, then do not forget to subscribe. See you till the next video.